22 million. That was the number on my screen, and my daughter-in-law, Sophia, just saw it. She didn't scream, she shrieked. She has 22 million. The family gathering, all the fake smiles, the turkey, the suburbs of upstate New York. It vanished. Instantly. Every eye in that room, from my son Derek to my smug brother George, snapped onto the woman they'd always called the simple school cook. A quiet, retired woman with an apron full of deadly secrets. It's not possible, Olivia. Is that number true? Their greed wasn't hidden anymore. It was naked. Their eyes weren't just shocked. They were calculating exactly how much of my future they could steal. My own son rushed me, demanding, "Mom, where did you hide that money? Explain it now." For 40 years they treated me like the hired help. They had no idea they were looking at their biggest threat. Now they know the price of my silence, and they're about to find out the price of my refusal. The question is, when a fortune shows up, would you watch your entire family turn into vultures for $22 million? I'm Olivia, a retired school cook. For decades, I've been the invisible relative, the one who always hosts, the one who always cleans, the one who, frankly, no one even glances at. They treat me like the help, all while they brag about their big careers on Wall Street and their new condos in Miami. But this holiday, everything shattered. My daughter-in-law, Sophia, she saw it. My phone was still lit up, showing my bank account balance. She has $22 million. The entire room froze. Every single eye, from my son, Derek, to my brother George, snapped onto me. Olivia, the simple retired school cook. It's not possible. Olivia, is that true? Their eyes weren't just shocked. They were glistening with a cold, hard greed that made my blood run cold. Derek rushed me, demanding, "Mom, where did so much money come from? Explain it." They literally gathered like vultures waiting for a carcass. I was tired. 40 years of this disrespect. They were invisible to me when I needed help, only useful to them when I was cooking. Now, they want an explanation? George had the nerve to say, "If you have that amount, we deserve to know. We are your family." I sat down. It was time for the truth. I worked at the school for 40 years of getting up at 4 in the morning to prepare breakfast for 500 children. That doesn't explain 22 million, Olivia. Stop being so dramatic. She always minimized my efforts. She laughed when I got my high school diploma at 50. She patted my head like I was a silly little girl when I started investing. Every dollar I earned, I saved. While you spent money on fancy Hamptons vacations and new Cadillacs, I ate beans and rice and walked in the rain to save bus fare. Derek, impersonating Derek, impatient. "Mom, we need the whole truth. It doesn't make sense. A school cook can't have that much money." That line cut deep. My own son, reducing my entire life's work and worth to 2 dismissive words, school cook. I kept going. I invested. I bought stocks when no one wanted them. I acquired property in neighborhoods that later became valuable. I studied the market while you all watched Bravo. I also received an inheritance. Their eyes lit up like a Las Vegas sign. Mr. Evans, the owner of the school, left me part of his fortune. Why? Because for 20 years I brought him meals and I stayed with him in his final days when his own family abandoned him. The silence after that was different. They were calculating. "Mom, we understand you worked hard, but you have to admit that this money belongs to us too. We're your family. Olivia, you've already lived your life. We have kids to educate, bills to pay. It would be selfish of you to keep it all. She doesn't need $22 million. $2 million would be perfect for you, Mom. The rest should be divided among the family." And my granddaughter, Chloe, even she piped up, "Grandma, think about my Ivy League college education." They were all talking over each other, outlining their needs, their debts, and their dreams, all financed with my money. It hit me. I was never family. I was the free domestic help, the available bank account. I finally asked them, "Family? Where was my family when I had gallbladder surgery 3 years ago and none of you showed up at the Cleveland Clinic?" Hold on. If you're enjoying this takedown, you have to hit that subscribe button right now. The rest of this story is a firestorm, and you'll regret it if you miss the ending. If you're a real one, prove it. Subscribe now. They tried to shut me down. George shouted, "Olivia, you're talking nonsense. We've always loved you. You've loved me like you love an efficient housekeeper, like you love an available bank account." When Derek tried to block me from leaving, saying, You're not leaving until we decide what to do with the money, I snapped. I picked up the casserole dish, the one I made with love, and smashed it on the floor. There's your family money, I screamed. I continued to throw things, a lifetime of suppressed rage pouring out. Olivia, you've gone crazy, completely crazy. I looked at them, standing over the shards of glass, the remnants of a destroyed meal, and replied with a new, icy calm. Yes, I am crazy. Crazy for having believed that you loved me for something more than what I could give you. Do you think Olivia is really crazy for standing up for herself? If you agree she's right, you need to subscribe immediately to support her journey. If you won't subscribe, get in the comments and tell us why. We're dying to hear how you justify it. I locked myself in my room, called my old friend Robert, and told him everything. Later that night, like a teenager, I climbed out my back window. I hailed a cab, gave him Robert's address, and for the first time in decades, I was free. The next morning, the manipulative messages flooded my phone, 43 missed calls. Mom, we're worried. Come home so we can talk calmly. Olivia, don't be dramatic. Running away doesn't solve anything. Olivia, this is ridiculous. You're an old woman. You can't be out there alone. Come back immediately. Not one apology. They just wanted to keep negotiating for my money. Listen, the family's about to hit Olivia with a lawsuit. You won't believe their nasty move. If you think you're smart enough to predict the ending, prove it by subscribing first, then dropping your guess in the comments. Derek eventually found me. He was trying to sound gentle, but the threat was unmistakable. Sophia had consulted a lawyer. Derek, impersonating Derek, called. Mom, she says you're showing signs of mental decline, that your erratic behavior is evidence you're not fit to manage so much money. We'd rather solve this as a family, but if you continue to be unreasonable, we'll have to take legal action to protect you from yourself. Mental decline, for defending myself against their abuse. I immediately hired a top estate lawyer in Boston. His name was Arthur Miller. He explained what they were doing. Elder financial abuse. We created an irrevocable trust, updated my will, and legally ironclad my money against any future grab. 2 days later, Sophia showed up at Roberts with 2 Boston PD officers, claiming I was a missing person and being manipulated. I showed the officers all the text messages, the veiled threats, the emotional blackmail. The senior officer shut her down. Mrs. Olivia is clearly of sound mind. The only manipulation I see here is the one you all are exerting on her. You will regret choosing money over your family. Sophia, I didn't choose money over family. You all chose money over me. She's about to give away $20 million. If you want to see the epic moment she calls her son with the news, you need to be a part of this community. Hit subscribe or you're literally missing out on one of the greatest acts of revenge ever filmed. I thought about what I was going to do next. I realized I finally had a true purpose. My money would change lives. I called the director of the St. Michael's Educational Foundation, an organization that helps low-income kids in the Chicago district. We signed the papers, $20 million designated for scholarships, school construction, and lunch programs. I kept $2 million for myself. Then I called Derek. You did what? You're completely insane. That money was ours. It was never yours, Derek, and now it never will be. The scandal that followed was epic. George went on the local Fox News affiliate claiming I was manipulated. It went viral, people mocking a man publicly demanding his living sister's inheritance. But none of it mattered. I bought a small beachfront apartment in a coastal town near San Diego. Robert moved nearby. We became adventure buddies, traveling to Paris, Rome, and Machu Picchu. 3 years later, Chloe, my granddaughter, came to live with me. She told me her parents, Derek and Sophia, were getting a nasty divorce, fighting over debts, and blaming my selfishness for destroying the family. Grandma, I used my own head, and I realized they're the selfish ones, not you. I told her I wouldn't pay for her college. She had to earn it herself, and she did. She got a full scholarship and now works with me at the foundation. Derek and Sophia are divorced, fighting over debts. George's business went bankrupt. They all ended up in debt and bitter, blaming me for their problems. Robert and I got married. At 70, I experienced true, unconditional love for the first time. This is the moment of truth. If you believe Olivia made the right call and that your worth is more than just what you can give to others, you have a moral obligation to subscribe right now. Don't be the one who silently clicks away. If you don't subscribe, tell us in the comments what your final verdict is on her actions. We're all watching. My family thought that by taking away their fake love, they were punishing me. They didn't know they were setting me free. I learned the deepest lesson of my life. True love never comes with bills attached. Now every morning I wake up in Tuscany, surrounded by a family that shares my values. I look out the window at the sunrise and I know it is never too late to choose the life you deserve.